Hi everybody, welcome today. Glad you're here today. Boy, been a rough night for me, I got to tell you. The group woke me up in the middle of the night, and I haven't been sleeping much, but I'm wide awake and ready to go. So we're in good shape. Anyway, welcome today. Honored to be with you. Welcome to the VirtualLight Broadcast. If you're new to it, we've got a lot going on today. I got to tell you a little bit of what took place because they filled me in on all kinds of information. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to get out today during the actual channel. We'll be doing Meg's segment first, and then we'll come into the channel. There's a new entity coming in through the group. The group has always been the group of 9. And I kind of fill you in on some of the details of it so you kind of understand what's been taking place. But they've told me in the very beginning that there was 9 of them. There was 8 of them and 1 of me. And we were considered to be the group. We're not the only group that exists, I will tell you that, but I've been very honored for almost 28 years now to be able to channel the group in this fashion. In the very beginning, they absolutely refused to give me any details about their names, ranks, serial number, anything of that nature. Simply was not part of the deal. They wanted us to take the message for the love content of the message and not because of some label placed upon it. It's all about empowerment, and that was the base of their message. A few years ago, probably about 7 or 8 years ago now, they started coming in with the entities and telling us who they were. And we ended up with 6 entities. And then recently, probably about 3 months ago, they decided to come back together. And instead of channeling as the observer, channeling as Ilra, channeling in the different areas, they decided to come back into unity. They said, unity is the most important thing that we can offer you on planet Earth right now. Well, because of coming back together and because of channeling as a singular entity again, it's kind of interesting because I still get the individual energies, but they come out the same. They address everything as we tell you this and so forth. Anyway, we've been able to bring through 6 of the 8 entities. There's 2 more left. They simply were not going to bring those through until last night. Last night they told me a new entity is coming in. We will channel this as a group. They're not going to, this entity, I asked if it was male, female. They're really not going to be talking too much about that because that's not, again, not the important part. But there is a new entity coming in. It is a different type of entity. For the first time in probably 20 years, maybe longer than that now that I think of it, I'm going to be closing my eyes during the channel. I typically don't do that, but I have to really focus to get this new energy and everything that's there. So I will be doing that here today, and I hope you all enjoy this. I'm very excited about this myself because we basically they just don't come in very often as new entities or as part of that, but they wanted to describe that to us here and let us know. So anyway, let me bring you up to date on what's going on here as well so we can kind of work with that a little bit. A couple of months ago, they talked about a timeline cross. With this timeline cross with Aris. This has to do with what's going to take place today. I will tell you that. Again, they threw so much into me. I don't know what's going to be covered here in today's channel, and I don't know what's going to be covered in the upcoming event that we're doing next month called Activating Your Channel, because they do want to activate many people to channel, and that's going to be the focus of next month's event in February. So anyway, I'm very excited about it, and we'll be doing some new things. Please bear with me. If we have a technical issue, my eyes are not going to be open during that channel. I'm sure after a while they'll allow me to open my eyes, but it's not really important. It allows me to just kind of focus a little bit closer to bring these new, and I say these new entities because they will be talking again as a singular entity, bringing all the energy from different places. But they want to talk today about the human angels. Now, they told me that a couple days ago. They told me that they wanted that this month's message was going to be about the human angels, but I had no idea. I just figured it was the same thing we used to do. We used to do seminars on the human angel. We had the Human Angel Conference in Elspeth, Holland. We did all sorts of fun things with this, and then we did online seminars with it. I think this is going to be quite different. And what this is basically another step in humanity. This timeline cross with Aris is very interesting because they said that this particular one was going from December 17th all the way through February, probably until around February 27th. And since there's only 28 days in February, that's most of February. And this is variable, but the main thing about this is that Aris is a planet that is dominated in the feminine energy. And ours is dominated in the masculine energy. So we have an opportunity to really pick this up. And most timeline crosses, as we've mentioned many times, happen very quickly. Their reality crosses our reality. We don't notice it. It's not something that you would wake up one day and look at the stars or see the moon in a particular situation. To my knowledge, I don't think there's anything in the astrological area that mentions this time frame on planet Earth and what's taking place. I know we have a lot of things coming up in April that the group is very excited about. We'll talk about that another time. But the interesting part about this is because it's such a long timeline cross, not just crossing within a couple of days, but crossing over almost 2 months, month and a half. That is very exciting. And there's some incredible things that can take place as a result of that. And what we hope to get out of it here on Earth is a balance of the feminine energy, to allow the feminine energy to come back in. It doesn't mean that women are going to take over. It doesn't mean that we're going to suddenly see this whole change in our curriculum, because it's very gentle. We never see these things coming, but all of a sudden when we look back, we can see that there was a huge shift of energy. That's what we're looking for. And I'm very excited about that. They talked, this is why they had me up all night. So actually I woke up about midnight, so I did get a couple of hours sleep. After that, maybe tonight, we'll see. Anyway, I'm so honored to be with you here today, and thank you all for being with us. We're changing quite a few things. We're resetting a lot of energy here at Espavo, so we appreciate your patience with us while we change a few things and start to shift a lot of energy. And I think that's also one of the reasons that this entity is coming in this way. Now, I really don't know what to expect here. I don't know if they're going to speak in an odd type of thing. I am to close my eyes. They suggested that last night. They don't tell me what to do, but they suggested that. And they suggested that I could probably focus a little bit better, and I haven't done that in years. So this will be quite a trust issue for me, because I'm the one that's alone here in the studio running everything. And usually I get an opportunity, even while I'm channeling, to kind of catch things out of my eye if something's blinking at me or if something's going wacko. So anyway, I'll check that right now. Nope, looks like everything's going out. We're going out on our own website. We're going out on Facebook in 2 different places. We're going out on YouTube in 3 different places. And here we are today. So thanks for joining us. Espavo, everybody. I'll be bringing that in just a few minutes. We just finished a seminar yesterday. Was it yesterday? Oh man, time just flies. We just finished a seminar yesterday called Scripting Your New Spirit Contracts, which allowed us to really come in and evaluate all the contracts we made before coming in as a spirit, and also script new ones, stepping into not just the new year, but the new energy, especially with this timeline cross. That is a really big deal. So we haven't done this type of thing in years, but it's in the store right now. If you're interested in that, you can still take the course. It's going to be available forever. We're going to start, we have some technical issues with taking the restrictions off things that we haven't solved yet, but it will be solved fairly soon. In the meantime, we hope to take the limits off of all the things that you buy for us, so that you're able to keep these as long as you want. Come back and take them. That is available now, and you can go in and watch it anytime. The next one coming up, which will be in in February, and I don't know the dates, but you can look on the front page of the website, is the channeling exercise. We want to teach people to channel. Now, this will be different than our previous channelings because it's going to be led by this new combination of entities. Maybe that's the best way to say it, with this new influence in the group. And this is the reason, by the way, that they wanted to come in and work with it in this way. One of the things that they wanted to do was to reunite the group and through me, and let me get used to, again, talking instead of as individual entities, to talk in the collective voice of the group, which we've been doing for a couple of months now. And I'll be very honored to bring this new entity in. I have a feeling that this is probably going to be the main voice of the group. I don't know that for sure, but I can tell you that that is probably going to be the case. Last month's channel was all about George and the original spiritual family of light. It was quite a kick. We got quite a bit of email on that. If you haven't seen that, it's still available on the website, right there on the front page. I think you can still see it. Anyway, it's all available. But where you're watching this here, if you're watching this through aspavo.org on the free events page, you can just go down a couple because we do 2 free events every month now. The VirtualLight Broadcast, which is usually the last Saturday of the month, but since I am traveling so much to Belgium right at the moment and maybe relocating there, the reality is we have to shift it a week or two sometimes in each direction. Then generally toward the middle of the month, we're doing the Global Light. The Global Light is a very short, probably 30 minutes max. It's where we all can hold hands and focus on a vision for planet Earth. We've been working with war. We've been working with some of those energies right now to focus that energy and try to bring those things up to where we can do that. And it's worked out quite well. So we'll be doing that again toward the middle of the month, 2 free events every month. Aspav, everybody, thank you so much for being with us here today. We are very honored to be with you in your presence as well. Let's all hold hands for just a moment before we start anything. Take a deep breath and just release. Excellent. Beautiful. Well done. Good. One more. Just shake your hands. Take a deep breath. Excellent. We have Meg Adamson with us here today. Absolutely magical stuff that she's been bringing us today. She's going to talk about manifestation. I'm very excited to hear this. We'll hear Meg, then we'll come back. We'll do the channel from the group, and that'll do it for today. Aspav, everybody. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, everybody. So nice to be here with you again this month in January. So what I want to talk to you about this month is manifestation for a minute, because I've been discovering lately that this really interesting response that we all tend to do. So let's preface it by saying no judgment first. Let's be kind to our nervous systems, kind to ourselves. Let's just observe, go into observer mode. And what I really discovered is that we've learned this autopilot response until we learn not to. And sometimes we never learn not to. And that's why I want to have the conversation. Until we're willing to receive everything and not just what we call good, we tend to mix our story up about how things come into our lives, about the actual process of manifestation, how our brain works, how projection works, attraction works, and energy works are all really big conversations. But from a hypnotherapy standpoint, as a clinical hypnotherapist, we really want to streamline this down into why do we not get some of the things we're really working hard for? Why does that happen? Because what's easy to do and the autopilot response is we sort of collapse into this random reasoning. I don't know. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe the universe is punishing me. Maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe I've done it wrong. Maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe that's just how that works out. That's typical. Things don't work out for me. And then we build momentum going in the direction we don't want to be going in. Now we've picked up that old programming, those old lies about ourselves, those old limiting beliefs. And now that momentum is really dominant. And so we keep projecting from it and attracting back to it. And we keep getting the same thing over and over and over again. But we're not really understanding the why. So if we could put judgment down for a minute and start to just observe the why, we might start to catch our patterns. And I thought that was a worthy conversation to have. So, because as humans, we've all experienced some emotional pain. Right? You've heard me say this before. Every single one of us, there's a part of our brain that doesn't develop until we're 7 years old. And at that point, it just begins its developmental stages. We call it the critical factor in clinical hypnotherapy. It's that that chatterbox, that voice inside your head that says, don't do that. That's not safe. Can we trust people? I'm not sure. Guys aren't nice. Women are tricky. Let's be careful. Just let's avoid that at all costs. I'm not sure about money. The economy is too dangerous. We constantly have that voice looping in our head. That voice was born around 7 and matured up until 11, 12, 13, and that became our adult rational mind. That function, it takes in all of what we're perceiving in the world outside of us on that screen of space, that movie called life, and then it associates it against what's in our subconscious mind. Now, before the age of 7, when it's sort of born, if you will, we've had life experience. Maybe our parents aren't perfect. Maybe our parents are too perfect and they expect us to be perfect. Maybe we had guardians. Maybe we were in foster care. Maybe we had the perfect childhood, but we went to school and kids weren't so nice. Maybe we learned in school that if I don't get the best mark, then I don't get the accolades. I don't get the love. I don't get the good job, little you. So I've learned I have to compete. I've learned I'm not really in a community, I'm against a community. This is all experiences we have until we start to figure out that we're a we. That voice starts to create that adult rational mind, which then gives us the ability to separate ourselves from the circumstance, which is where our negotiation skills start to come in. I don't think I want that. Thank you. That might be good for you. I'm not sure that feels right for me. I'm going to politely decline. We can't do that before we actually mature that capability. So before that capability, everything's personal. It's not there's a set of circumstances. This person might be in a bad mood. This person might be having a bad day. I'm not sure why they're upset with me. We can't do that. We can't separate it out. We say, it's me. Something's wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not perfect enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not masculine enough. I'm not man enough. And on it goes. And we carry that for the rest of our lives. And we compound on it. So now we're moving through life quite unconsciously, making sure that we never get near that pain again. Now our subconscious mind has held on to this experience. It's dominant in our brain. We're always watching for that. Don't get near that pain. So we're going to sabotage. We're going to sabotage jobs. We're going to sabotage relationships. We're going to isolate ourselves. We're going to stay away from people. We're not going to go out past 7 o'clock at night. Whatever the coping mechanism strategies are that come in to protect us, they are there because we don't want to experience pain. So if we could just back up and observe this for a minute and really look, what's my trigger? What am I telling myself every time I don't get what I want or something goes wrong? And it's in this one area of my life, because I could be fantastic at making money, but I'm not great at relationships and communication. All right, that's where we need to turn the lens and observe and look. Why? Well, because, and it'll pop right out, because people always do this, because this always happened to me. We have a story where we're a little bit of the victim in it. And let's not say victim like the word is judgment and somebody else is the villain. Let's just say it like, this is where I got hurt. And I never really dealt with that pain. And so my subconscious mind is doing a brilliant job doing what it's supposed to do. Its function is to keep you alive, right? You're not thinking about breathing at night. You're not telling your heart to beat. It's running all the processes of your body. There is an innate intelligence running within you that built you. And it wants to protect you. It wants to keep you alive. That's its job. That's its function. And its primary is to move you towards pleasure and away from pain. We don't want to experience pain. So now we've got this conflict because we've got this younger part of us that got hurt and we're trying to avoid that at all costs. But now we've got this adult part of us with our rational adult mind saying, well, I would really like to be in a relationship that functions well. I really would like to be earning more money. What am I telling myself about why I can't have this? I'm doing all the work. I'm reading all the books. I'm staying away from all the tigers in the world that feel like they make my nervous system go into fight or flight. I'm working really hard for this. And I get little drips here and there and things that, that are nice show up. But the main thing is never showing up. Why not? Because we've got a conflict. That inner conflict is your subconscious mind says we can't go anywhere near that because that might hurt. So we have to find a way to become willing in our manifestation process to accept it all. To know that we can handle it. To know that we'll be all right. To know that life is duality. That there'll be some really extraordinary experiences and celebrations and happiness, but with that will come growth and challenges and lessons. We tend to get mixed up because we only want the good. Have you ever noticed that? And that's logical. No one walks out of their house and says, all right, give me the worst day you got, universe. I can take it. Nobody says that. We don't want that. But what we tend to do is we only want the good. And at the first sign of trouble, at the first sign of our happiness going off the rails and anything challenging coming in, our coping mechanism kicks in. We either shut down completely and back away. I've got to get myself out of here into safety. My nervous system is kicked in because I have perceived something close to that which caused me pain in the past. And now I'm in a visceral body response. Mind goes blank. We're no longer making decisions well. At this point, blood is running to the heart and the big muscles. We got to get out of here. And so we respond to it like a threat. What if we could train ourselves? Train our minds. Teach our subconscious mind that pain was from a memory. I'm okay now. Look at all the skills I have now. Look at all the lessons I've learned. Look who I've become. Look at all the things I'm proud of about me. We don't do that. We weren't taught to do that. So our brains over and over and over again are constantly scanning for what we don't want to have happen and avoiding it. That's what we do. We live unconsciously like that all day. But the mechanism is so powerful. We can revert that. We can learn to focus on all the things that we want to experience by flooding the subconscious mind with everything that you've already accomplished. And I know there's millions of things we each have. They don't have to be life-changing. I was the one that invented and understood penicillin. No, I was good today. I was kind today. I was nice to strangers. I'm a good person. I'm pretty empathetic. I'm a good listener. I do my best to be a good person every day. That is worth celebrating. I know that everybody on my client list and everybody in this audience and the readership is a good person. You wouldn't be watching this. You wouldn't be here. Do you celebrate that enough? Because when we do that, we start to get into the realm and the frequency of the things that we want. But we have to be willing. We have to be willing to say that life is going to throw us some curves and they have value. I'm going to learn from that. I can be an observer. I can admit that I need to grow in areas and things happen to show me where that growth is. I have to be willing to say I have an adult brain now and I can handle some pain. And I don't have to protect myself from everything, because if I try to do that, I'm going to create so much isolation around me in my life that I won't like my life. So I still don't get what I want, even if I avoid pain. If we can actually have that conversation with ourselves and come to the conclusion that pain has value too, but we were never meant to stay in it. We were never meant to suffer. We were never meant to just constantly be monitoring for it. And we weren't taught that very well, right? If we were 10 years old and we wanted to stay up until midnight, we wouldn't be able to be alert and function and get up early and go to school the next day. We weren't responsible enough to make good choices. So we had guardians that would help us. And then we became adults and we learned, okay, if I stay up until midnight or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning and I have to get up at 6 o'clock tomorrow to go to work, this isn't going to be good. And so we learn to become responsible. We take responsibility for our choices. But the mechanism, when it's trying to protect us, that shuts off. We don't really take responsibility because we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to avoid pain. So we get those two things cross-wired in our thinking. And so we look for people to blame. If you would just change, this would be better. If you would just not be here, this would be better. If you would just be happy, then I would have a nicer, easier day. If everyone at work would just be happy and hold happy thoughts, then the empath in me would be having a lovely, crystal clear day because everyone is happy. That's not possible. We have to learn to govern ourselves. And when we can live in duality and we can say, I can handle it. I can handle it. I want all the good stuff, but I can handle the other stuff that comes with it. I can't just jump from 10 to 30. When we're 10, we're like, I can't wait to be older, especially girls. I can't wait to wear makeup. I can't wait to get my ears pierced. I can't wait to grow up. And then we grow up and we're like, I need to be in bed by 9. I'm really tired. I wish someone would tell me to go to bed. Isn't that the joke, the memes we see on the internet all the time? But we want all the things. But if we jumped from 10 to 30 and all of a sudden had the things, they've made movies about this where all of a sudden they switch bodies. And you don't know how to handle it. I haven't had all the growth that came with that and the experiences that came with that. That's kind of what we're saying when we say, give me the good stuff. What we want is give me the good stuff and nothing else. And don't make me responsible for anything bad. And don't ever let me experience any pain. And then really, I don't have to do anything after this. I can just sort of slide. But life doesn't work like that. You're not here for that. Your experience of life is extraordinary if you can change how you look at it, day by day by day by day by day. Our success, our happiness is a long game. I read something so inspiring the other day, and I posted it. Actually, it was towards the end of last year, end of 2023, and I posted it on my social media account, on my Instagram account. Did you know that 80% of the Forbes 100 most powerful women in 2023 list are over 50? Our success, our happiness is a long game. It's not get the one thing and we're done, right? It's lived in those moments every single day. So we have to really look at how can I handle and be okay with more responsibility? Where can I say that I need to grow without it feeling bad and painful, without it feeling like self-judgment, without it feeling like something's wrong with me? And start there. Start with that conversation. If I can help you in any way with that as a clinical hypnotherapist, I would be happy and honored to do so. Have a wonderful rest of your month. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for inviting me into your homes, and I will see you next month. Bye for now.
Thank you, Meg. Incredible. Awesome. Excellent work. Okay, here we go. Hope you enjoy this. I know I'm very much looking forward to it. Maybe if I do this right, I can get some sleep tonight. We hope so. And if not, that's okay too. I've got tomorrow off, I think. So anyway, welcome everybody. I'm going to take a couple deep breaths. I'll invite you to do the same. We can basically just take a little time together here and create some wonderful energy. Let me take care of a couple things here so we don't have to worry about it. There we go. All right. Excellent. Welcome home, everybody. Welcome home. Turn that down just a little bit. There we go. Greetings, dear ones. It is a joy for us to be here with you. You are magical, beautiful humans. But you are more than that. You see, you work with things, you understand everything in terms of vibration. So let us explain that way. If you look at vibration up here, what we call home, vibration is so incredibly high that everything is connected. All the wave patterns overlap each other and become part of each other. So as we speak here this day, to try and bring things together as a group, we will work with you on that level. We are going to ask the keeper to close his eyes. Yes. The human angels are uniting, dear ones. So what happens is your lower vibrations, which are absolutely needed in order for you to play the game of pretending to be a human, are down here. It's not bad. We need you in this area to make that difference, to ground the light in the way that only you can do when you are in this beautiful bubble of density. And yet, you're reaching up here and you're moving so fast. And now with the timeline cross that has recently happened, you're starting to see capabilities of a new energy and a new light entirely. Well, that means that you're spanning the gap between the low density and the high vibrations of home, and that we call the human angels. Welcome, human angels. Your beauty is beyond description to all of us here, looking at it from many aspects of home. So we're going to ask you a few questions. Number one, are you willing to step into a reality which is larger than you? That's one of the biggest pieces of this. Start to see things from the perspective of home. Yes, you have masculine, feminine energy. Most things are divided into a field of polarity in the lower densities, and you are starting to lose that as you rise. That is so magical. The other aspect of this is very simple, that you're starting to find that you have capabilities of talking directly to your spirit. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. That is what many of you have called channeling. Now, dear ones, there have always been teachers on your planet, beings that have brought in a very sample of a high vibration, usually a harmonic, if you will. In other words, not always carrying the incredible high vibration every step of their way in life, but being able to reach that from time to time, sometimes by having an event, an accident, sometimes by going into the hospital and having their heart stop, and coming out of it with a new aspect of being able to reach those harmonics. But now, with the new timeline cross and the new energies that are coming in, especially toward the end of April, so many of you have the capability now to start what you call channeling. And many of you have contracts to do exactly that. We hope to hook you up with those contracts. We hope to activate many of those for you so you can feel this energy from home. As you do, you will start uniting. You'll start bringing in your own information in absolutely incredible ways. You see, When you are on earth, you are divided into dimensionalities, into 11 different multiple dimensions, as the keeper calls it. And yet, there's so much more than that. What if you were able to speak as one? Well, that is what we're doing here. That is the reason we've asked the keeper to start reuniting and speaking as one, and allowed all of us to come in a different way. No, the names are not important at this point. It is the message that we'll grasp. And we tell you, there are many adjustments that will be taking place to many of you. But most of you, you will feel like it's a very natural step. It is a step out of duality into triality, into a whole different way of living. Absolutely magical. We are so proud of what you have already done on your planet. You hold the light from home in each and every one of you. Well done, dear ones, well done. Now, there have been those that have walked that path, that have been able to reach those harmonics and be able to channel inner messages. You've had so many of them. Yes, we know. You have your belief systems, and we'll try to stay away from those because those can be very touchy for people. You attach yourself very closely sometimes to belief systems. But if you take the idea of channeling, of being able to reach through the veil to be able to bring a message from Spirit, is that not what all of your religions have been based upon? Have that not been the case? Now, yes, you bring those entities and you put them on a pedestal and you pray to them and you work with them, which is fine. You are creator beings. Whatever you believe, whatever you work with will work. And yet, each one of you can do it. The only challenge we have with any and most religions that they say that they are the only one. We tell you there are so many ways to reach home. And then there are those of you who have magically worked through, sometimes through great effort, to be able to walk in a higher vibration and be guided along the way. So difficult sometimes because you have your own will, your own ideas, your own concepts and goals. And sometimes we ask you to take a turn in a different way, to make a contact, to create something special. That is magical indeed. And there are those of you who have been able to do that, to walk in a higher vibration, to connect both sides of your brain and walk in that energy. This is what we wish to share with you, because now that you've had this timeline cross, this is capable for everyone. It has always been capable for everyone, and yet very few have been able to actually perfect it in many ways. We will work with that to bring it to most of you, because the human angels are arising on planet Earth. Not to take hold, not to unite the entire Earth. That's not the purpose. You're such a beautiful individuals over here in this country with these influences and these belief systems and the things you have grown up with. And over here, it's quite different. There's no right or wrong about any of it. You are beautiful rays of light. You don't all shine the perfect white light that you bring from home. You bring it through your own intricacies and you flavor it. And you come out with these magical colors. That is really beautiful. We ask you to hold on to those colors. Just release your limiting belief systems, whatever keeps you from tapping into those energies, allowing yourself to be the essence of home. For all of you have those capabilities, and we will activate it in every one of you. You have it anyway. Learning to trust it, learning to work with it, watching the signs of ascension. The keeper has mentioned that we woke him up last night. Yes, we do apologize for that. Not really, but we'll make it sound that way. The most important part is that all of you are experiencing this. If we had you in front of us here and he had his eyes open, we'd ask you to raise your hands. And how many of you started waking up in the middle of the night? Usually the 3 a.m. club is back, but it varies quite a bit. Sometimes it's midnight, sometimes it's 5 a.m. Whatever it is, you will be awakened because Spirit is knocking at your door. Please do not fear it. Do not concern yourself. You are grand creator beings. So if you are worried about what you will see the next day, what will happen to you, let me tell you, you will create it. So hold it and just celebrate it. You have magical times that each of you can now start to experience in beautiful ways. And you have a multidimensional experience. But at home, dear ones, your whole essence, the base of your spirit, had an intent to come to planet Earth during these times. And as we mentioned, many of you have traveled backwards in time to be here now. Welcome home. You made it. And even though you're still in a multidimensional experience, you've not been able to get a hold of those other dimensions. That is changing. You're starting to unite. And we'll speak of the higher self, talk of the higher self's role in all of it. We have a way of looking at things that are quite different than many, allow you to grasp a different vision. All of it is made to empower you, dear ones. That is the word espavo. Thank you for taking and holding your own power. When everyone does that, even to a small degree, all of humanity rises to a new level, and you're able to exist in a different place. That is so beautiful. You could hear the thunderous applause from this side of the veil when that happens, and it is happening every single day right now. Yes, 2024 is liable to be a very difficult year. As you step into higher vibrations, there are many that wish to hold on to what they had. They feel like they're losing things, so they do everything they can to grasp the old energy, to recreate it, to keep it from moving upwards. And yet, you'll pull it up. Light workers are everywhere on planet Earth, and you're learning to listen. What you do with that is entirely up to you. Please understand, we will never direct your life. Yes, we will open doors for you. Yes, we will give you suggestions. Yes, we'll plant ideas. We'll put crystals on your path so that you can see them clearly. But it's entirely up to you, for you are the greatest angels that have ever lived. You can imagine what it would be like if you were an angel in heaven and you decided to take off your wings and pretend to be a dense being in a bubble of biology. Well, here you are. Look in the mirror. It's each and every one of you. You are such magical beings. We are so excited to be here at this moment. For much of what we have been anticipating and trying to tell you about, you are creating. Well done. So the question becomes, can you see yourself beyond the next step that you're taking? Your habits, especially when things get dense, when things get difficult. You don't look down the road, you look at the next step. You look at where you're going next, what the next thought is. We ask you to look further than that. Take a deep breath right now and feel your own guides gather around you, dear ones. These beautiful beings have agreed to travel with you on this path, allowing you to take all sorts of diversions of your path. For it is your experience. There are no wrong turns. You are still beings of light no matter where you are, no matter what your past has experienced. It's the future that you have planted the beauty of home. We will speak in great detail of what you call beauty, because there is much misunderstanding of it, and from our perspective, you are the most beautiful angels. We'll explain that to you, for it's experienced differently in different parts of the world. Both sexes deliver things differently, which is part of the reason you're starting to blend things together and stop all the duality of Earth. That is so beautiful. It opens doors for you to hear yourself. And it's working. Welcome home, dear ones. Welcome home. It is the greatest of honor that we start working with you on a new level. And that is the aspect that we have. Have you ever gotten an idea? Perhaps you were typing. Perhaps you were writing, perhaps you were recording something, and you had it all planned out exactly what you were going to do. You may have even written an outline of what you wanted to cover. And all of a sudden, you get an idea. And it starts coming in new ways. It starts literally working to where you can't type fast enough. You can't quite write it down. You're so afraid of losing it. That is channeling. And with a little practice, you can make that be a part of your life. The human angels are now here. And all we wish to do is try to empower you, to let you know that you have created your own reality every step of the way. You are such beautiful beings. We will show you that beauty in some way. And the magic that you have already created on earth is intense. Now, yes, as we mentioned, this is liable to be a challenging year. There are many beings who are rooted in the density, who are trying to pull back, trying to keep the evolution from happening. Not so. Yes, they will be the ones that make the headlines. They will be the ones that you hear the most. But please understand, it is not the loudest voice in the place that claims the highest vibration. It is those voices that can speak directly to your heart. Yours. So open that heart chakra right now. Take a deep breath. And as you release it very slowly, activate your own vagus nerve and feel the beauty of home coming in. Your guides are all around you right now, protecting you if you need protection. We think that is a beautiful idea of duality, for you are angels, dear ones. The reality is you have everything that you need to take these next steps. And it is our job here to do nothing more than to remind you of who you are, remind you of your essence of pure light, to have you step in that area, to rid yourself of the duality of the two brains, to start combining that energy, to have you walk every step of the way in a higher vibration of home. You've written about this for eons of time. You've called it heaven on earth. Oh yes, there's all sorts of ideas and all sorts of concepts about that, of uniting all the world's leaders together and bringing them all together to have the same truth. That is not important. What is important is that the light workers take their place, that the human angels start working, because the moment you do, you start affecting everyone around you. You plant those seeds of light very quietly. Very rarely do you even know that you're doing it. And yet just by holding that light, you open new possibilities for every human everywhere. So be proud of where you are. And if at any moment you are not happy with the reality that you have created, dare to choose again. Dare to step aside of who you have been and start your life over again. By being able to hear through your higher self and being able to attach to spirit. The first part of spirit that you attach to is yourself. It is that higher self, the part that you left in the veil as you came through to pretend to be a human. Well, you made it. You carry all the beauty from home with every step that you take. You are the magical beings that we honor on planet Earth. And there are many, many more of you. In the next few days, dear ones, in the next 3 months, there will be no less than 144,000 awakening from the dream, looking for answers, looking for energies. Now that is a fairly small number considering you are now 8 billion people on Earth. But we also tell you, those are the select ones. Those are the ones that have chosen themselves. They have selected themselves to carry that energy, but they must be reminded. For as you go through the veil, you leave your memories in the veil. Yes, you will pick it up as you go back home. And you'll go, wow, that was quite an experience. I don't know if I can do that again. And then you'll try to turn around and go right back in. Well, many of you are last timers. Many of you have actually completed all the energy that you came to Earth for in the first place. But you had to be here now. It's part of the critical mass that each of you wanted to do. And we tell you, for those of you who are last timers, we honor you beyond your understanding. But we know how difficult it is for you to lower your vibration. And that's what you've done to have this experience. That's what we do every time we speak through the Keeper or anyone else. So you may ask, who are you going to channel? What are those entities? What are their names? Well, you can ask them. For they are around you right now, waiting for you to take your step as the next human angels that hold in. For you are awakening now and stepping even higher into vibration. All of you already know how to channel. This will be an easy step for you. The difficult part is to think anew, to understand that the whole idea and the concept of competition no longer applies. Duality is going away very simply. So take this as a moment in time. As you look back at this great moment, you will see change. Not so much right at this moment unless you decide to do that. There are many opportunities for you to do that. We will be here to work with you on those, if you so desire. And if not, you'll find it elsewhere. For these are your contracts that you've made, not us. Dear ones, please love each other. Understand that you're all connected at the heart. The whole idea of quantum physics, discovering the whole idea of quantum entanglement represents who you are. You are all part of each other. And when one person way over here does something, not just a person, you have the concept of the butterfly that flaps its wings in South America, which affects people in Iceland. It does. Now, if you take that and consciously use it, you will create miracles not only on the earth, but in your own life as well. These are great times indeed. We honor you, and we love you. And we ask you to take that love and pass it on. We're playing the greatest game of tag with the human angels. Tag, you're it. Now turn around and pass it on to someone else. Welcome home, dear ones. Welcome home. We leave you for a moment, but before we do, we will allow the Keeper to open his eyes for just a moment. And if your eyes are closed, you may do the same. Look at the auras. Look at the energies that are everywhere on your earth. The human angels have landed, dear ones. Well done. Well done. We are the group of 9. Play well together and enjoy the ride. A spavo, dear ones. A spavo. I did have to close my eyes again. That was intense. So those of you that are working with the 3 a.m. Club, we'll hold hands tonight. Enjoy the ride, everyone. You are loved. Keep that in mind. We will make a difference on this planet. It's time to awaken from the dream. I love you. Spavo.